I think we can all agree that buying your first car is an intimidating experience. Most people go into it very surface level and only consider the total cost of the car or just the monthly payments that's advertised without considering that, there might be a high down payment just to drive the car off the lot and then end up getting stuck with a high monthly payment. When it comes to embroidery machines, it could be a similar process because it is an upfront investment and there are things that you should consider when purchasing your first embroidery machine. In this episode of Apparel Academy, I'm going to walk you through 3 different considerations to think about when purchasing your first embroidery machine so you avoid the rookie mistakes that's going to cost you in the long run. All right, now let's get the show on the road. Alright, so now that we're back inside the studio, let's go over the different points I was going to talk about. But before we get started, if you're here for the very first time, consider subscribing to the channel and make sure to hit that bell icon so you get updated as soon as a new video comes out. And if you enjoy content like this, consider giving a quick thumbs up. It will greatly help out this channel. Alright, so jumping into the first point to consider when buying your first embroidery machine, which is to consider the features that you'll need both now and in the future.
I sent him into the future!
With so many different types of models of embroidery machines to choose from, you really need to dig in and do your research beforehand so you consider the needs that you have right now for your embroidery business as well as what you'll need in the near future so you don't just go with the cheapest machine that you can afford and get stuck with all its limitations. After all, it's all about what you need, right? But most people consider only what they need now without considering what they need in the future.
And I need you.
Back to the car example that I was talking about. Think about what you'll need, right? Do you need a truck to haul a lot of stuff that you have? Do you need a van to drive around a family of 4 or 5? Or do you need a practical sedan that can get you from point A to point B, maybe to work in the morning? Bottom line is, don't buy a Lambo for a family of 6. But also don't buy a small 2-seater if you're gonna haul a lot of stuff. Consider your needs. So what a noob would do in this situation is only buy something that they think is the cheapest or most affordable machine within their budget. Therefore, they don't pay attention to what they need, especially down the line as their business scales. For example, they'll go with a single needle machine that only costs a couple $100s to get started, yet they want to run an online store, for example, on Etsy or on Shopify, or having their own website as a business. Noobs in this situation will actually be hit with a dose of reality very, very soon because the volume of orders that their business is getting can't really be fulfilled with a single needle machine. It just simply can't keep up. The single needles are much slower, and if you have multicolored designs, it's going to be a hassle to actually switch out every single thread for different colors for every color change. A noob in this situation would also just buy a small embroidery machine with a small embroidery area because it's affordable, and then when they're hit with a large order for these large items like jacket back designs, they won't be able to fulfill it and have to pass on that order. Because as I mentioned before, what a noob would typically do is actually just focus on what they need right now without thinking about the future. If you have even the possibility of doing large jacket back designs or designs of a certain area that won't be able to be accommodated by a small machine with a small embroidery area, you might want to consider that in your initial purchase. Finally, one last thing that I've seen noobs do when buying their first embroidery machine is going with a trendy feature without considering all the options. For example, if they're considering investing in a 2-head embroidery machine, they might go with a dual function 2-head without considering the fact that you can actually get the same thing done with 2 single-head machines, sometimes for much less, or just a standard normal 2-head machine. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the previous video that I did on this particular topic, and I put that in the card above and in the link below. So on the other hand, what would a pro do when considering the features that they'll need? They'll not only consider what they need right now, but also what they'll need 3, 6, or 12 months from now. Because once you buy a machine, you can't easily just upgrade it to a larger embroidery area or add on different pieces to it. You're kind of stuck with the features that you purchased. So a pro in this instance would consider down the line and in the future so that their investment is going to last them a longer time. For example, a pro in this case would think about what are the possibilities of different types of items that I'll be embroidering. Maybe towels, maybe jacket backs, maybe even duffel bags, and these bulkier items. They'll consider a model of a machine that can fit all of those needs. Even though that might not be a particular area they focus on right now, maybe jacket bags or duffel bags are not a huge part of the business right now, but there's a possibility they might expand into that. They'll take that into consideration right now rather than later. A pro would also consider the number of needles on the machine so that they can make sure they can maximize their efficiency. As I mentioned before, single needles are obviously inefficient when doing multicolor designs, and it takes a lot longer to change out each thread when you're doing a color change. But pros, knowing that, they not only go for a multi-needle embroidery machine so they can do multiple colors at the same run, but also they will maximize the efficiency of those multiple needles by presetting each needle to a different type of needle so they can maximize their efficiency without having to change out needles when they're doing a particular type of item. If you want to check out some resources and other videos that I've done on this topic, especially comparing single needles and multi-needle machines, make sure to check them out in the card above and in the link below. I also have another video talking about what I just mentioned in the efficiency and use of multiple needles, so they can not only do multiple color designs, but you can actually preset them for different types of needles or even different sizes of needles, so they can accommodate for caps or small lettering, and use your entire range of 15 needles to maximize the efficiency. In essence, when a pro is buying their first embroidery machine, they always have efficiency as well as the value of time on top of mind. Therefore, when they look for their machine and the features it includes, they look for things that can save them time, such as more needles, therefore saving time on color change, faster speeds, as well as things that will give them a variety of options to scale, such as a larger embroidery area to embroider bulkier items. Alright, so moving on to point number 2, which is don't assume everything is included in your embroidery machine purchase. Now, most embroidery machine brands don't include basic accessories in their machine packages. I don't know why. I mean, we do that here at Ricoma, but I've seen a lot of other companies and a lot of other brands don't include the basic accessories and necessities in your embroidery machine package.
And look, there's no engine. It just has a drawing of an engine.
So when you're eagerly buying your first embroidery machine but don't really delve into the details of what's included in your machine package, it could be like being sold a car without a steering wheel. So what I've seen most noobs do in this situation is they assume that everything will come with the machine, even the basic accessories. Now, most single needle embroidery machines don't even come with the actual hoops. You will need to buy that separately depending on what you need. There are also other multi-needle embroidery machine brands that will sell you just the machine itself, and if you need the basic accessories, they will upsell you that for additional cost. So on the surface, it might seem like you're getting a great deal for a multi-needle embroidery machine for only a couple of $1,000s, for example, but then you find out, oh, if you need to do caps, you need a cap attachment, that's another $1,500. If you need digitizing software, that's another $1,000. If you need the stand to roll around your machine on, that's another $500, and that will add up very quickly in the overall price. Noobs will also see these pictures online and assume that everything in the picture is included in the machine. For example, if they see that the machine is on a stand, they naturally think that the stand is included, while in most cases, actually companies will charge you extra for the stand itself so you can roll around your machine and make it more portable. Finally, when noobs are purchasing their first embroidery machine, they don't really think about the software side of things, because they're so focused on the machine features and what they can do with the machine that they forget that with embroidery, you do need digitizing in order to digitize a design into an embroidery format that the machine can actually embroider. Most embroidery machine companies actually won't include software in your machine purchase because they just expect you to either outsource it to a professional or find some other ways to get it done. They might give you some free basic designs that's included in your machine, but if you want to digitize your own logos or do some custom stuff, you won't be able to do it with just the machine. Pros, on the other hand, will consider everything that's included in the machine to make sure they're getting the best bang for their buck. They'll look to make sure that the hoops and accessories that they need are all included in the machine package. They'll also make sure that, hey, if I have a cap attachment and cap hoops to be able to embroider caps, that's also included in the package. Also, things that I mentioned before, like stand and software, all of those pros will actually make sure that they're actually included in the package so they can get everything they need right out of the box. Pros will also watch a ton of videos online and do their research beforehand to see how to do different types of projects that are related to the things that they want to do and make sure that their machine package includes the tools to be able to do those things. So here at Ricoma, we include everything that I just mentioned in our comprehensive machine packages because we know that you want to have everything you need right out of the box. When you buy a Ricoma embroidery machine package, you not only get the machine, but the stand, all the hoops and accessories that you need to get started, including tubular flat hoops, as well as the cap attachment and cap rings to be able to embroider hats. You also get a toolkit, as well as a starter kit of supplies like thread, backing, needles, bobbins. And yes, we also offer free training with your machine package so that you get a peace of mind knowing how to utilize your investment, as well as lifetime 7 days a week and after-hour support, so you always have someone to talk to when you have a question. Speaking of training and support, that leads me to my last point here, which is don't assume that embroidery is plug and play. Most embroiderers start out in this industry and in this business without having ever embroidered before or even used a sewing machine. Unlike learning how to drive, which you can probably learn from your good old dad.
And now we're coming to our stop sign. Put your signal on. Now put your brake on a little bit.
Learning embroidery will probably require a professional to teach you how to master the craft, and you'll need a little bit more practice than just driving around some parking cones in your local high school. And just like with any car, you'll probably want to know some of the basics in terms of maintenance, such as oil changes, changing a tire, or fixing a simple light. That way, you're not hit with high bills from mechanics for skills that you could learn and save yourself some money in the long run. So one big mistake that noobs will make when purchasing their first embroidery machine is assuming that it is plug and play just like a TV. They don't ask about training or support, and they might overlook the fact that it takes time to master the craft and therefore overestimate the time that they actually have to dedicate to the craft. Noobs will also overlook how important digitizing is in the overall quality of your embroidery. They might think that digitizing is just all converting a design with the press of a button, when in fact digitizing is a craft on its own to be able to master so that you can have good quality embroidery from a good digitized file. Most noobs will also assume that you can learn everything about embroidery from just a manual. In fact, most companies that sell these single needle embroidery machines or ones that you purchase from online don't actually offer support for their products. Because it's such a low ticket item, it's impossible to be able to offer a level of support and guidance and training for something that small. Most companies will also not go out of their way to post how-to videos or tutorials online to showcase to their customers, let alone training videos to teach you how to use the machine. So don't assume that everything will be included with your purchase. In fact, training and support are sometimes not included with some other brands. I've heard horror stories from other customers that actually pay upwards of $500 per hour.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
To get trained on their new machine purchase. Asking those training and support questions up front will prevent you from a dilemma later on when you find out that training costs $500 per hour and therefore be stuck with the decision of whether you learn this on your own or shell out the money and just suck it up and have someone else teach you. Finally, a noob will overlook the maintenance portion of their embroidery machine. Most companies will charge you to even send a technician out for some simple maintenance that you can learn and master on your own with some help. Pros, on the other hand, will ask the right questions to make sure all of their bases are covered. They will make sure whether training is included with their machine purchase and whether support is included and for how long. Pros will also want to make sure that they're covered on the weekends or even late at night after hours. That's because a lot of people are starting out in embroidery as a part-time gig while maintaining a full-time job, and therefore a lot of times they're running projects on the weekends or even late at night. Having lifetime support as well as support on the weekends and after hours is going to help get those burning questions answered without having to wait until the next business day. Finally, what a pro would do is go with a company or brand that has a lot of information online regarding that particular model or machine they're looking to purchase. Meaning, they want to go with a company or brand that actually has a lot of videos or tutorials on things that they want to do with their machine, maybe on different types of projects, as well as maintenance procedures so that they can maintain the longevity of their investment. So as you guys probably know by now, here at Ricoma, we offer a ton of tutorials and resources on different projects. We have an entire series on YouTube called Embroidery Hub that does exactly that. We also offer troubleshooting videos for common errors as well as direct access to our technicians here via video conference so they can take a look very quickly and get your questions answered much faster. And as I mentioned before, we're the only company that offers lifetime technical support 7 days a week and after hours for your machine purchase as long as you're a Ricoma machine owner, and that you won't find anywhere else. We even offer you free training on the digitizing software that comes with the machine. You won't find that with most digitizing software providers, let alone machine manufacturers. Alright, that's it for us for today, guys. Just like buying a car, an embroidery machine purchase can be overwhelming and intimidating, especially if it's your first one. In the end, it's important to ask the right questions and talk to a product specialist so that you can make sure you're making the right investment. For more information to help you decide what machine is best for your needs, make sure to check out the other episode I have on this channel talking about what embroiders wish they knew before they started in this business. Finally, if you're interested in any of the embroidery machine models that we have to offer here at Ricoma, as well as any of the 0% financing options and low monthly payments, make sure you fill out a contact form in the link below to talk with a product specialist and they will walk you through it. As always, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a quick thumbs up here. Make sure to also subscribe here and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Lastly, follow us on all of the social channels here, including Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. All right, that's it for us for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.